Great. So we're hoping to make this as interactive as possible. I hope you guys can use chat. If not, let us know or try to let us know. But I think we'll get started because we're going to try to keep this to 30 minutes. So, all right. So all our panelists are here. Let's get going. Welcome, everyone. I'm Doug O'Keefe from TAM Training and Transformation, an Oracle partner for over 20 years now. And this is the Adoption Mindset Series. TAM, if you get that. So hopefully the first of many, and whether you're a customer, a partner, or just getting to know us, we're here to talk about one thing today, and that's user adoption, digital adoption, and specifically for this episode, how Oracle Guided Learning can help smooth things along. This is Spotlight on OGL. Thanks again for attending. This is going to be relevant whether you've moved to the cloud or you plan to stay the course in terms of technology, because either way, we know ERP solutions work best when user adoption is a priority, right? So again, we're hoping this is the first of many conversations we have like this. It's going to be real experiences, real lessons learned from our time working with OGL and user adoption in general. And of course, we want this to be interactive, so please don't hesitate to ask a question in chat if you can. If it's not working, I'm so sorry, but either way, we'll get the opinions of the experts we have here today with us. And let's get to these experts. You see their pretty faces here, but I want them to say hi. We're joined today by our OGL delivery team here at TAM. That's Wanda Wilson down in Wake Forest, North Carolina, Garrett Faircloth over in Houston, and coming to us all the way from Bogota, Colombia today, it's Miss Sandra Wadnapar. How are you guys all doing?
I'm very glad
Fantastic.
to be here.
They can only see you when you talk, so you gotta speak up.
All right. Here we are.
It's a pleasure to have this audience. I'm very glad.
Yeah, and we're trying to have some fun with this. We're looking for something to tie to today. Today happens to be Diana Ross's birthday. How about that?
Happy birthday to the Queen.
To the Queen. And well, look, I like to think that we have our own OGL version of the Supremes here with us today, the three of you. So let's let's get started. Again, we're hoping this is going to be just a free-flowing conversation, but feel free to weigh in. And let's start kind of at the basic level here. And I'll go to you first, Sandra, since you're the farthest away. Let's define digital adoption platforms. What are they, and why are dApps like OGL so important?
Well, a very good question, Doug. So let me divide it into what is a dApp? A dApp is a digital adoption platform that allows the users to receive the instructions meanwhile they are on the server. So basically, this is a layer that sits on the top of the application. It will guide the users meanwhile they are doing their transactions based on the roles, based on the customer specifics. Remember that a lot of years ago, we used maps. I was terrible at reading maps. And now we have the Waze. It recalculates, it gives you the directions based on your location. If there is a traffic jam, it will guide you to the specific place that you want to go. So this is the same with the dApp. It's the Waze for your server. So the users, they don't feel overwhelmed because they receive the right instructions, customized based on their company. And you ask me, why are they so important? So based on the studies and from the different consulting firms, McKinsey, we can see that 70% of the transformation initiatives, they don't meet their objectives. And 38% of those projects fail because there is not user adoption at all. And why? Because we think that training is just enough, that it's just a one-time event, and we are going to support the users with that specific training. And that's not the case. because they feel overwhelmed. There are different complex transactions, and we have to support them just where they need it, based on their roles, based on their specifics. And with Oracle Guided Learning, we have different types of assets like guides, simulations, smart tips, and now we have different additions like coach marks now in 26B. So I'm pretty encourage you to use the DAP to support your users based on the roles and based on their specifics.
Yeah, no, thank you. I like that ways comparison too. If you've joined us today without any previous experience with digital adoption or digital adoption platforms, that's probably the most important takeaway here. If you're starting at the base level, this is learning in the flow of work, right, guys? Right when you need it, without the need to leave the page or even the field you're on. So I'll go to Garrett. Garrett, now that we've defined DAP, what would you say is the biggest misconception out there customers have about user adoption that we're talking about compared to traditional training programs?
I think it's important to bear in mind that training is an event and adoption is a strategy that addresses many things, including training events. So I think to achieve true user adoption, the indicators can be quite varied. And that's where a lot of these functionalities from digital adoption platforms, like Sandra mentioned, really come into play. So using things like metrics, looking at things like the amount of help desk tickets, post go live, and even search terms and surveys help us to understand if adoption is taking place. And luckily, there are so many tools within Oracle Guided Learning that will show us these indicators.
Yeah, those analytics are great, right? And we'll get more into those. And yeah, I appreciate that answer because again, maybe there is that misconception that training is still a one-time thing. And maybe that explains why sometimes implementations can struggle, users can struggle. So let's focus in a little closer to OGL itself, to guided learning. And Wanda, we haven't gone to you yet. So when OGL is working really well, what does the experience feel like for a user?
Right. So when Oracle Guided Learning is working well, users feel confident and self-sufficient. They're not calling for support. They're not asking coworkers how to do routine tasks. And they're completing transactions correctly the first time. Guidance shows up exactly when they need it inside the process. So learning happens naturally in the flow of work. You see fewer errors, faster task completion, and support tickets start to drop, which is usually the clear sign that real adoption is happening.
Yeah, it's a little counterintuitive, right? But a drop off in OGL engagement actually, it's almost always a good sign, right?
Yes, it is.
So we mentioned keeping this interactive, and we have a poll for you guys. So I could launch it here. Here we go. We just kind of want to take the temperature of the crowd here. How experienced are you with OGL or any other digital adoption platforms? Give you a second to answer that as the votes go in. So let's talk more about implementation though, and I'm going to go back to Sandra here. Let's talk about getting started with guided learning. In terms of an Oracle implementation, when would you say is the best time for a customer to start engaging with OGL?
Well, I have to be sincere for that question because my answer has changed a little bit since last month. So for customers that are in Fusion, now we have Cloud Success Navigator that customers can request a specific server that is configured based on the best practices. So from day zero, the customers can start testing. They identify what are their requirements. They don't have to support on a PowerPoint or some different slides because just in the server, they start figuring out what are the guides that will work based on their experience, based on their specifics. Oh, I'm seeing the results here from guided learning. We have seen customers that are using it, so it's great. So we have people that know about Oracle guided learning. Something that is pretty relevant is to understand that we have to implement OGL not only for go live. We need it at the different stages in the project and also after go live to retain our new employees, to explain them what is changing, what are the new capabilities, and every quarter we have release updates. So I will say that if you have a configured server, just use it since the beginning.
Yeah, thank you for that answer again. And again, back to that misconception that OGL might only be relevant for go live or maybe a little bit of onboarding, but that's it. And as we've seen, as you've all seen out there in our work with OGL customers, this really is a tool that can greatly benefit an organization if deployed correctly, right? So we have another interactive moment for you this time. It's a question for you, if I can get it to launch. Think about or maybe share what's an experience you've had with trying to inform users about a mandatory system change that impacts their roles. Have you ever been a part of that? And did you see anything that worked, maybe didn't? We'll let you fill that in if you can. And in the meantime, let's go back to Wanda. How are we doing, Wanda? Let's frame guided learning deployment into terms of our methodology, right?
Yes.
What makes TAM's approach different from other OGL partners?
Right. So at the start of every engagement, we focus on building a culture of confidence and continuous digital adoption. We concentrate on 5 key areas: user pain points, process motivation, digital skills, a strong champion network, and ongoing reinforcement. When these things are in place, organizations work faster, smarter, and more consistently.
Yeah. So you're talking about communication, of course, it's key. All hands on deck in the project, right? That's intuitive, but I'll leave this question open to the three of you. When it comes to scoping an OGL implementation, how do you decide what not to include, though?
I think I can answer this one. Part of that methodology that Wanda mentioned previously, we have an approach that we like to focus on high frequency and high impact guides versus, say, low frequency and high impact guides. So what that means is, what are people impacted on their day to day? So to give you an example, requisitioning and procurement is something that's high frequency and high impact because it occurs frequently, almost every day, and it impacts a large amount of people. Whereas perhaps month-end close is high impact because it's a new process, but it's typically a smaller audience. So the way that we look at that is to prioritize the largest amount of user groups in a way that's going to get them comfortable with the system from day one. And that also kind of comes into another area that I hope we get to touch upon here soon, which is our custom curriculum that we have at TAM called Adopt Edge. And it helps really accommodate a lot of these scenarios. But I'll leave it at there for now.
Yeah, no, thank you for mentioning Adopt Edge. We'll definitely get back to that. In the meantime, though, we have another poll for you guys, if you wouldn't mind. Um, when do you see users struggle the most in ERP systems? Is it right after that go live? Is it those infrequent or complex processes Garrett just talked about? Is it earlier? Is it UAT? Is it product training? Is that being overlooked? Or is it all of the above? Might be. We'll let you get those answers in. But back to the panel. And Garrett, let's stay with you. In terms of where digital adoption can break down first, would you say it's the people? Is it the processes? Is it the technology?
It really could be a combination of all three, really. A lot of the times we see that in organizations, they're not quite as familiar with their own processes going in versus what standard cloud processes are or what they will be in a future state. However, that's where Adopt Edge comes in, which is actually what I was alluding to and on your last questions. So it's based on our collective knowledge of our many live customers And we notice a trend where sometimes the base guides are either customized over and over, or they're not quite bridging the gap from end-to-end processes. So TAM is actually one of the first Oracle partners to create a complete custom library for Oracle Cloud and beyond that is based on our hands-on experience with OGL customers and our training events.
Yeah, and that's really the adopt edge difference, right? We're not trying to capture everything again in OGL. I don't know why you would, but specifically what we're getting at is what do your users specifically struggle with on like Tuesday morning, right? So Sandra, let's take it over to you though. In your opinion, from your perspective, from your experience, what's the most common challenge you see when organizations implement OGL?
Well, we've seen many challenges. For example, we need a configured server in order to build, test, and validate the guides. Also, data, user engagement. Sometimes users say, "Oh, I don't have time to validate these guides," and well, but we've overcome those challenges. But I want to strike here is that we need to understand that OGL is a capability that you build. Is not a one-time journey. Is not only for training. This is something that will allow us to understand what to design, what to improve, how to guide the users meanwhile they're doing the transactions. If there are some updates, because we have every quarterly updates and changes and adjustments, we have to communicate that to our users. We have to tell them, to guide them. It's like Heraclitus said, we cannot step in the same river twice. And the most constant thing that we have in our lives and in this world is change.
Yep.
So that is something that you have to sustain, and you cannot give a Ferrari without instructions. So you have to support your users, right? You have to tell them what is changing, how to enforce those rules. If they are doing a bad record for a specific invoice, we can tell them, okay, please create this a specific transaction, create this a specific record for this data. So we have to understand that, and we can leverage on Oracle guided learning to guide and support our users.
Yeah, I mean, there's that theme again, right? It's not just training, it's not just a one-time thing. It's with you the entire life cycle of your products, right? And there's so many things you can do. So another question for the audience, if you don't mind, if you have anything to share, what's the biggest challenge, pain point you're seeing with user adoption today, back where you are, or who you're working with? We'd love you to share any experiences you had, any anecdotes, and we appreciate it. So, Sandra, I'm going to stick with you though. Let's talk about AI. Got to talk about AI, right? How does Oracle's AI Assist specifically factor into OGL support, if at all? I mean, can AI Assist basically just configure these guides without the OGL customization services we're talking about here with Adopt Edge?
AI, our favorite word these days. In all social networks, we see, oh, AI, AI.
Yeah, yep.
Yes, it's our favorite word. So it's a fact. We have to leverage on technology. I love technology. I've been all my life working in these parts, but we have to understand that technology doesn't work alone. We have to leverage. It's like, I like this analogy. I love analogies. It's like the Iron Man suit. Tony Stark, he becomes powerful because he's using those capabilities, and he becomes stronger and a hero. So at TAM, we are not heroes, but we create stronger assets because we have our experience, our judgment, and we leverage on the technology in order to create the assets faster. But we don't want just to be more efficient and more agile. We want to create the right assets for our customers based on our experience, what has worked, what hasn't worked. And we are leveraging that on Adopt Edge because we are building based on the best practices, on our pains, on what we are seeing that is not working in our users. So when we combine AI in order to create those assets faster, and we combine our experience and judgment, that's a huge value for our customers.
You love your analogies, and it's that Iron Man suit, right? And the three of you you guys are Tony Starks in your own right with OGL, but the TAM services we're talking about here, though, are for empowering our customers, Tony Starks, if I may, right? So they can better master these new technologies and eventually become self-sufficient, get into the OGL habit, the sustainment habit. So let's talk about post go live if we have a little bit of time here. Uh, Garrett, one thing we haven't talked about support, obviously. So these quarterly releases are here to stay. We know some of which are critical, as we've seen. A couple of questions for you here. First of all, what are some ways OGL can help navigate these changes? And what are some other ways OGL can help sustain an organization's support strategy long term?
Yeah, so OGL is fully inserted into the Agile framework of cloud products. We get those emails and messages directly in the console about what's coming and when to expect it.
Right
So it's,
there,
you
right?
know, yeah, it means that the features are being rolled out to enhance our user experience constantly. So sometimes that means updating the content we have. Sometimes it means updating and shifting content to accommodate things like these AI features that we're seeing in Fusion. Um, we have a service at TAM that's called DAP Care, and what that is essentially allows us to extend our DAP support way past go live and really a managed services capacity to help enable, implement, and maintain quarter releases while we are providing our best practices around how to continue to get your maximum value out of OGL. And that includes things as recently as these AI agents. So at TAM, we're already implementing those and creating guides around how to interact with those in the best way possible. And those are things we extend to our customers.
Yeah, and all that stuff's really cool. It's been really great to see you guys come up with new ways to leverage this tool. And while we think about that, I have one more interactive question for you guys today, and it's related to what we were just talking about. Uh, if at all, how integrated is your DAP and support sustainment approach? If you have anything to share, let us know. Maybe it's not. We can talk. So we'll leave that open, and we're 23 past the hour. So let's see if we have any questions we can address here. I know there was one that was sent in. Um, how about, and this is for anyone, any of the three Tony Starks here, any of the Supremes. Uh, you guys are talking about cloud, but we're still on PeopleSoft. Is there anything we should keep in mind when it comes to OGL on PeopleSoft
I can
or any
answer that
legacy
one.
product, really?
Yeah, I can answer that one. So we have customers that are currently on PeopleSoft. It's OGL is being extended to most SaaS solutions out there. And anything specific to bear in mind? No, it's gonna enhance what you already have. A lot of our PeopleSoft customers are worried about making the switch from older tools like User Productivity Kit, and guided learning has
Good
more
old
than
UPK.
bridged the gap. Exactly. So good things to come.
Yeah, so yeah, hopefully not a misconception out there that it's only for Oracle Cloud. This tool, at least we can leverage it for a lot of other things. So I appreciate that. I don't believe I see any questions. Does anyone else? Is it me? So we have about 5 minutes. I can give you the closing pitch, but again, we encourage anyone to send in a question if you can, and if you can't, well, God, we're really sorry. Um, so we can I guess wrap it up if there's nothing else you guys want to mention. Oh, Sandra, you're coming off mute. Are you here to save the day?
Yes, I okay. One of the things that also I would like to highlight are the new capabilities that we have in 26B. For example, you can share the simulation links, videos. It's really important because with the simulations, you don't require a a training server or any credentials at all. You just share that link, and those users can understand how to process those transactions without even being in the server. So that's amazing. I love that. And you just can share by email or by any other platform that you're using at your company. The coach marks, those exciting highlights in the smart tip icons. I also really like those specifics. And this is something that is evolving. Every quarter we will have updates, we will have new things. For example, the AI assistant, but please understand that AI doesn't work alone. You have to give context, you have to give experience, because otherwise it can hallucinate and create things that are not applicable to your company. So I really encourage you to use technology, but use it correctly, because otherwise you're going to have crazy things in your
Well,
company.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, good advice for life in general these days, right? But no, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Wanda or Garrett, do you have any last comments you'd like to leave us with?
No, thank you for your time, everyone. It was a
Yeah.
pleasure.
All right. We'll wrap it up. We'll give you guys 3 or 4 minutes back, but just to close it up here, and what you want to take away from this is that digital adoption platforms, and specifically OGL, right? Uh, they're going to deliver the most value when they're treated as a living adoption strategy, not just a one-time configuration, not something to forget once you've gotten past that go live. So again, if you're wondering how to get more value from OGL or any platform, we'd be happy to provide you a demo of not just the platform, but those Adopt Edge accelerators we spoke about DappCare. Um, just to get the conversation started, just leave us a comment in chat or maybe not chat, maybe info@tamtraining.com, LinkedIn. A lot of you guys know us, you know where to find us, and we appreciate you joining today. So TAM team, thank you all for providing your input. I hope this was valuable for everyone who joined, and we hope we gave you a little new way to look at digital adoption here today. So thanks again for spending your time
Thank
and
you.
with us, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks,
Thank you
everyone.
very
Thank you,
much.
everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.